Hi. This is my final thoughts on Better Call Saul. This is kind of a trip because I didn't really think that this show would. Well, actually, no, I didn't want this show to end. It's because I fell in love with Breaking Bad and El Camino so much that it. I felt kind of sad that this show finally came to its really kind of a somber conclusion. Um, Before I go any further, there's going to be spoilers. So, for those of you who are not familiar with my final thoughts, because I usually do written reviews, um, just consider yourself warned that there's going to be spoilers throughout this entire video. So, just watch Better Call Saul all the way through if you want to spend 6 seasons as well as 63 episodes. So yeah, I'll just begin right now. Um, yeah, this was a show that I didn't know that was ever gonna come. Actually, I wasn't even sure what was gonna happen right after Breaking Bad until Vince Gilligan announced that there was gonna be Better Call Saul, and it was. I was like, okay, you know what? I mean, there's like some things that you could expand a little bit more. Um, you know, Saul Goodman's character, his background wasn't really observed all that much, and neither was Mike's character or background, or even for a little bit of Gustavo, a little bit from like the cartel and all that stuff. But you know what? I might as well give it a shot. I like Saul Goodman. I know some people don't like him, and I get it. I mean, Breaking Bad, it's supposed to be a more of a hardcore, like, gritty, um, serious type of show. But at the same time, Breaking Bad was always kind of comedic. At the same time, even Dean Norris told what's his name, Conan O'Brien, that uh, saw that Breaking Bad is technically a comedy, and I agree. I mean, that's why Dean Norris took the script, because he thought at first it was going to be a comedy, and that's why he plays his character the way he does. I'm not kidding. That is exactly what he said. And Vince Gilligan saw that, and he's like, "Yeah, let's just roll with it." Or as he would say, "Yeah, let's just roll with it. Yeah, I mean that sounds funny. I like funny. Yeah, yeah, I'm cool. It's cool. It's cool, man. I mean, it's all good, man." So, yeah, it's one of the shows that actually takes what Breaking Bad tends to avoid the most, because they don't want to get too distracted with like the serious drama of Walter White and his chemistry and his meth cooking and all that stuff. But with Breaking Bad, it's like they use comedy and drama, but also use comedy to evenly balance out the drama and all this really well. I mean, that's what I love about this, and Vince Gilligan, is that he knows how to evenly balance the drama and the comedy. And even in the last and final episode, you get to see some funny bits here and there, and it works. Um, I'll get to that in a second, but I mean, this isn't going to be just the final thoughts on Better Call Saul, but and also Breaking Bad and El Camino. And in case you're wondering, I'm actually holding my phone. My arm's kind of sore, so yeah, bear with me if it looks awkward what I'm doing. But yeah, it's kind of it is kind of a trip that to see that Breaking Bad, El Camino, and even Better Call Saul just feels like one massive TV show or movie, depending on how you would look at it. Just like how James Rolfe, aka Angry Video Game Nerd, said that when he put the Star Wars trilogy on his top 10 favorite movies, he said he couldn't pick one. He considers all three of them to be one whole film, and I kind of want to apply that same logic with the Breaking Bad universe. And yeah, yeah, it's even those who have never seen Breaking Bad um, ended up loving this show. My brother saw this show before Breaking Bad. I have a best friend who doesn't want to watch Breaking Bad because of, like, the whole like drugs and all that stuff, but he loves Better Call Saul, and I love that too. And I think the reason for why Better Call Saul works a lot is for a few reasons. One, obviously, Bob Odenkirk is Saul Goodman, or otherwise he's known throughout most, like, what was it, like, two-thirds of the show as Jimmy McGill. He's just really a fun character to watch go through, especially the hard times and the funny times and all that stuff. Um, and also for Michael Ehrmantraut. I mean, me and my best friend in the whole wide world was rewatching Breaking Bad. He rewatched it with his mom because it was his mom's first time watching Breaking Bad, and we both came to the conclusion that Mike in both this and Breaking Bad were our favorite characters, and he's a really humble type of man who makes it really cool. You know, he's just a cool, wholesome, old geezer that we love, and yeah, I'm just gonna miss seeing that guy so much. Uh, and just seeing all these pranks, all of these scams, all of these criminal activities that Jimmy does, even after he becomes Saul Goodman, it's just hilarious. Um, I think my favorite prank that really takes the cake for me was, remember I said there were spoilers, so keep that in mind. Was the was the whole thing of making geez, why am I forgetting his name? Hamlin just getting all doped up on drugs while trying to, like, conduct a court uh, jury, and just, like, seeing him go crazy, and it's just that was just hilarious to me. And just, like, seeing both Saul and Kim Wexler, his girlfriend slash fiance slash wife slash ex-wife, by the way, just, like, hearing them on the other side of the intercom, and just enjoying this, and it was just too funny. Just, like, if you guys haven't seen that episode, Plan and Execution, it's basically that Saul, he was just trying to prank. Hey, jeez, why am I forgetting his name? Um, Hamlin, McGill. Just Hamlin. Sorry. Um, just making him thinking that he's crazy, he's on drugs, and just by setting him up by thinking that a judge that was, like, doing, who was being the mediator for the Sandpiper retirement home, that, like, trying to, like, do a settlement, and Saul Goodman was just, like, like, using some guy from, like, a grocery store or something, and just, like, disguising him, like, trying to make him look like as if he's the judge, and, like, taking these pictures with the PI that that Saul actually set up for Hamlin, and just and then all of a sudden Hamlin sees the pictures, and he sees that it's, like, someone else in these pictures with Saul Goodman. It's just priceless. It just, like, seeing the old lady right next to Hamlin. She's like, "Is this how all these meetings supposed to go?" that was just beautiful. And just seeing Lalo Salamanca, I mean, right next to, right after Tuco, he's my favorite of the Salamancas. I mean, he's slick, he's cool, he's easy, he's just a load of fun. Just, and especially seeing how Gustavo Fring was just like operating all of this on like trying to make his meth lab throughout this whole show in the past, and it was just awesome. I mean, those parts, because the thing about what I didn't like about Better Call Saul, there's only one negative behind it, is that the first 3 or 4 seasons, it was like the stuff without Gustavo Fring and the Salamancas and the cartel, without it was just like Jimmy and like Hamlin McGill, HHM. It was just so boring, and I didn't know what it was until later on in season 5 when Jimmy became Saul Goodman. I found out what it was. It was the clients, the cases that were boring. And then when Saul was like starting to set up appointments, getting his his clients from like all these drug addicts and all that stuff, I'm like, yeah, that's what I actually like best, because it kind of fits in perfectly well as to what this universe that Vince Gilligan and Peter Gould made. And yeah, I like that much better. And I just enjoy seeing it. Like, my favorite episode is Bagman, and that felt the closest it ever got to Breaking Bad. And yeah, it's an awesome thrill ride of an episode. If you haven't seen it yet, you should. And as for the final episode, all the way up to this point, what always impressed me was just how many references. Hold on, sorry. That's how I'm working this. Yeah, one of my favorite things about this episode, about the final episode, is just like seeing how you would see all these subtle hints from Breaking Bad being put into Better Call Saul, and you could tell that Vince Gilligan was having a lot of fun with this. And one of my favorites was when oh man, what was my favorite in this entire show? I like seeing the doghouse reference a lot. That was always fun to watch. I also like seeing the oh man, this show is loaded to the brim with these hints. Like the whole bad knees, that was in like one of the first few episodes of the show. And also the fact that that in like season 5 you get Hank back. Well, actually, that wasn't really a hint. That was like a cameo. No, season 6, where you see Spooge come in for a little bit. Or how about the fact that the coat hanger in the very first episode in the courthouse, when Jimmy McGill was walking out, it had Walter White's hat and coat right there, just like hung up. Yeah, and even in the final episode, I don't know if anyone caught this right away, but the airplane that Saul Goodman was riding on was Wayfarer. Yeah, that's right. The same 2 planes that crashed into each other in the end of season 2. Yeah, that's what he was riding in. And yeah, it's like this whole final episode, it had a lot of things. It had drama, it had suspense, it had comedy, it had finality. And as for the tone, I don't know. I don't know how people are gonna feel about it, because I mean, you kind of want to see more of a bigger grand finale, but I don't think Vince Gilligan and Peter Gould had the intention of doing that from the very start. And I think he actually pulled it off pretty well. It's wholesome, it's somber, and you know what, guys? Not every single final episode has to end with like a massive, like like explosive, high tension type of ending. I mean, it can't always be like Breaking Bad or El Camino in that sense. But you know what? I'm glad just seeing how it ends. It's just like it's like Saul Goodman can finally just like rest at ease, and with people who actually loves him in prison. These people actually think he's cool. I mean, these people in these courthouses and everyone who's like he's surrounded with, they just hate his guts. Even before he became Saul Goodman, they hated his guts. I don't know if you ever caught that, but yeah, that actually happened to be the case. No pun intended, but yeah, you get to see what I mean. And that was, and then he goes into prison and he starts to see that he's actually fitting in pretty well. I mean, just rewatch that entire episode and don't tell me that there's a fine line of difference between him being with all the freed people that who literally can't stand him and then going to jail with people who actually are cool with him. I mean, just tell me that I'm not wrong there. And he likes it. He enjoys it. And that's what I love about this show is that it's fitting. I mean with like Breaking Bad, it was just actually this is what I found to like about Breaking Bad and Better Call Saul. I don't know about El Camino. I can't really make this comparison. But Walter White, he dies in a place that he ends up going to the place, his final resting spot in a place where he actually loves the most. It's like what he told Skylar White, that whatever he did it for himself because he just loved doing it. And he was in the place that he loved the most, and that was a lab. And as for Saul Goodman, he was in a place that he liked them, that he ended up liking a lot. And he was humble about it, and I love that so much. And yeah, I'm sad to see it go and end the way it did. I'm sad. No, I love the way how it ended. I love how it went. I love that it's now over. No, actually, I love how it went, but I'm just sad to see that it's finally done. And yeah, it's like, where would Vince Gilligan go after this? I mean, he said that he has something planned, but he said that he could possibly go back to revisiting the Breaking Bad universe, but at this moment he did say that he is kind of he's leaving it open. He's not saying that it's officially over. Anything is possible, and I can't wait to see what he will do, if he will ever do anything with it or not. So yeah, it's, and that's basically what it's a legacy that could have gone on longer, but no, it had to come to an end. So yeah, thank you for listening to my ramblings. I've never done like final thoughts as a vlog, but I enjoy. But you know what? I actually like this a lot better. It's faster, quicker, simpler. I'll get better. I'll start to add more things to this as I go along. So yeah, I hope you like this, and I will catch you around some other time. Later.